Questions, Harley, what do you think of this Joseph Kony debacle? Well, if you haven't seen the Kony 2012 video on YouTube, it's got like 44 million views in like a couple of days, going nuts. And I think it's great that we are using things like YouTube and Facebook and Twitter to get a message out there. And it's an empowering message. But what I feel is that it's a bit of a distraction. And I'm not saying anything that's going on over there is good. I'm saying that we've had like 1,000 people possibly killed by this group in the last year, when in Iraq we've had over 1 million casualties since we've had our troops in Iraq. We've had over 1 million deaths. So we've got 1,000 versus 1 million, and it took how many years did it take for us to get all the troops out of Iraq? It's just, I think it's a bit of a distraction. It's almost like us in the West, in Australia, US and Europe, we sort of like, look how good we are to the rest of the world. We like say, we'll come and fix your problems. But meanwhile, we'll drop bombs in that country, we'll exploit this country, we'll chop down that country's rainforest to have our grass-fed meat and beef and sit in our little restaurants in New York or Sydney, Australia, and be all, pompous and pretentious or whatever. And we'll say, oh, Africa, you've got some problems. And we'll do that bit on YouTube and Facebook. I call it Slacktivism. And I think it's great, like I said before, we're getting the message out there, but let's look at some real causes, some real issues. Just thinking you can share some Twitter feed and think, oh, I've done my work for the day, saving the planet. And it's like, you're doing good, but it's a pretty small little step. What you put in your mouth is a bigger step. Cutting down the forests. What's happening to all the forests in the Congo? Like we need the forests, we need the trees. People are cutting them down to grow grass-fed beef in the Congo or in Peru, in Uruguay, cutting down the Amazon so you can have your grass-fed meat. We're doing all this crazy stuff. We're dropping bombs in Iraq so you can drive your SUV to work when you can just ride your bicycle to work or whatever. So we've got all this distraction out there, and in my opinion, this Joseph Kony thing is just another distraction from what we could be doing regarding our diet or how we treat each other in our neighbourhood. Let's clean up our own neighbourhood before we worry too much about what's going on over there. Otherwise, we get into this complacency thing, like everything's okay because all the problems are overseas, when in actual fact the problems are often buried in our own backyard, in our own house, whatever. So that's my opinion on this thing. Like I said, I think it's great that people are starting to use these social networking things for a better cause rather than just making some silly video about nothing. So I think it's great that we're using this, and it's a good sign that things are getting better. My only criticism is I think we should focus on bigger issues versus a small thing. It's like worrying about, someone spilt a bit of tea on your foot and you're flying in an aeroplane, but actually the aeroplane's about to crash. And you're like, look at this tea, Twitter, look at this tea I spilled on my... You're twittering on a plane, someone just spilled tea on my foot, yet if you look out the window, we're about to hit a big mountain. So I think we've got to focus on bigger issues like cutting down the rainforest to grow cows to feed fat people, when over 27,000 children die every day under age 5 from starvation. So we've got 1,000 people massacred in the last year from the Kony thing. We've got over 27,000 children under age 5 die starvation. And that's just, I had to double check that because I was like, oh, that must be per year. And I'm like, fuck, that's per day? 27,000 kids per day, because they don't have enough food, because we get all the grain and feed it to our livestock, so we're going to have our farmed fish and our meat and chickens and shit like that. And then we cut down more forests, so we have the grass-fed animals, so it takes even more room. It's crazy shit. So we've got to look at our diet first. If you want to save kids, go vegan. Definitely, man, go vegan. So thanks for watching. Keep up the support. Instead of being a slacktivist, be an activist. Change what you put in your mouth. Change your community. And from then on, we change the planet.